Look at this. This is what we're up against. These little critters, termites, they're not just a nuisance, they're a nightmare for any homeowner. They get into your wood flooring, your joists, your beams, and they don't make a sound. You could be walking over an army of them every single day, completely oblivious while they're feasting on the very structure of your home. It's a silent invasion happening right under your nose, and by the time most people realize there's a problem, the damage is already extensive. We're talking serious business here. The scary part? You might not see a single sign until it's almost too late. No loud chewing, no marching lines of insects parading through your living room. They're sneaky, working from the inside out, hollowing out your beautiful hardwood floors, turning solid timber into a fragile shell. And let me tell you, I've seen it countless times. Homeowners heartbroken because they had no idea this was happening. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about the integrity of your home, your biggest investment. And if you don't act, if you ignore those subtle hints or just hope the problem goes away, well, that's when things get really expensive and really dangerous. We're talking about compromised structural integrity, floors that sag, beams that weaken. The repair bills can be astronomical, sometimes even forcing you to rip out and replace entire sections of flooring, or worse, deal with foundational issues. This isn't something you can afford to ignore. You need to know what you're looking for, and you need to know how to fight back. That's why we're here today. Alright, so you've seen what these things can do, but how do you even know if you've got a problem brewing? It's not always as obvious as that disaster we just looked at. Sometimes the signs are subtle, real subtle. And you might notice your wooden floors feel a bit spongy in places, or maybe there's a faint, musty odor you can't quite place. Perhaps you see tiny pinholes in the wood, or discarded wings near windowsills. That's a big one, often a sign of swarmers, which are reproductive termites looking to start a new colony. You've got to train your eyes and your other senses to pick up on these clues. Another thing to look out for is mud tubes, subterranean termites. The most common culprits for flooring damage build these pencil-sized tunnels from soil, wood and debris to travel from their underground colonies to their food source, your house. You'll find these on foundation walls, in crawl spaces, along pipes. If you see these, that's a direct highway for termites into your home. Don't just brush them off. Break a piece open. If you see little white ant-like insects scurrying around, well, you've got your confirmation. And don't confuse them with ants. Termites have straight antennae, a broad waist, and wings of equal length, unlike ants. The consequences of missing these signs, or worse, ignoring them, are severe. I can't stress this enough. It's not just a cosmetic issue. Termites eat wood from the inside out, so that beautiful hardwood floor can look perfectly fine on the surface while it's being hollowed out underneath. By the time you see visible sagging or widespread damage, you're looking at major structural repairs. This isn't just about replacing a few floorboards. It could mean reinforcing joists, dealing with subfloor damage, and a bill that'll make your head spin. Early detection is absolutely key to minimizing the damage and the cost. To really tackle a termite problem, you've got to understand how these critters operate. It's like going into battle. You need to know your enemy. There are different types of termites, but the ones we're usually most concerned about with wood flooring are subterranean termites. These guys live in underground colonies, sometimes with millions of individuals, and they need moisture to survive. They build those mud tubes we talked about to protect themselves from drying out as they travel up into your home to find food, which is the cellulose in your wood. Then you've got drywood termites, which are more common in warmer coastal regions. Unlike subterranean termites, they don't need contact with the soil. They can infest and live directly in dry, sound wood like your flooring, furniture, or structural timbers. They get their moisture from the wood they consume. Their colonies are smaller, but they can still do a lot of damage over time, creating galleries that run across the grain of the wood. Spotting them can be tricky, but one sign is tiny pellet-like droppings called frass that they push out of their galleries through kick-out holes. The termite colony itself is a complex society with a king, queen, workers, soldiers and swarmers. The queen is the heart of the colony. Her sole purpose is to lay eggs, sometimes thousands a day. The workers are the ones doing the damage, foraging for food, feeding the others, and expanding the nest. Soldiers defend the colony. To truly eliminate an infestation, you have to get to the queen or disrupt the colony enough that it collapses. Just killing a few workers, you see, won't solve the problem. The colony will just keep sending more. That's why understanding their behavior is so critical for effective treatment. Chapter 3, DIY termite removal strategies. Can you handle it? Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, Mike, can I handle this myself? And look, I get it. You want to save some money, take control of the situation. There are DIY products out there, boric acid, diatomaceous earth, termite baits you can buy at the hardware store. Boric acid, for example, is a powder that you can dust into cracks and crevices or mix with a bait. Termites ingest it, it acts as a stomach poison, and they also carry it back to the colony, which can help spread its effects. It's relatively low toxicity to humans and pets if used correctly, but you've got to be careful with application. Diatomaceous earth is another option. It's a fine powder made from fossilized algae, and it works by scratching the termite's exoskeleton, causing them to dehydrate and die. Again, it needs to be applied in areas where termites will come into contact with it. Then there are DIY termite bait stations. You place these around the perimeter of your home. The idea is that termites find the bait, which contains a slow-acting insecticide, and carry it back to the colony, eventually killing it off. This sounds good, but placement and monitoring are absolutely critical, and it can be a slow process. But here's where I got to be honest with you folks. While these DIY methods might offer some control for very small, localized infestations, they often fall short when you're dealing with a well-established colony or widespread activity. The biggest challenge is ensuring you're actually reaching the heart of the problem, the nest and the queen. If you miss, or if you don't apply these products correctly and thoroughly, you're just putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. You might kill some workers, but the colony will survive and continue to do damage. And with something as serious as termites, you don't want to take chances. Sometimes trying to save a few bucks DIY can cost you a fortune in the long run if the infestation gets worse. Chapter 4. Professional pest control for termites, calling in the experts. When you're facing a serious termite infestation, or if you just want the peace of mind that the job is done right, that's when you call in the professionals. And I mean true professionals, certified pest control operators who specialize in termites. These guys and gals have the training, the experience, and the equipment to tackle even the toughest infestations. They don't just come in and spray randomly, they start with a thorough inspection to identify the exact species of termite you're dealing with. Because different types require different treatment strategies. They'll pinpoint the entry points, locate the nests if possible, and assess the extent of the damage. Once they know what they're up against, they can recommend the best course of action. This might involve liquid termiticides applied to the soil around and under your foundation, creating a continuous chemical barrier that termites can't cross or that kills them on contact. Or they might use advanced baiting systems which are more sophisticated and strategically placed than the DIY versions, often using insect growth regulators that disrupt the termite life cycle. Some pros also use physical barriers or even heat or cold treatments in certain situations. They have access to products and application methods that you simply can't get as a homeowner. And here's a big reason to go pro. It's not just about eliminating the current problem, it's about long-term protection. Reputable pest control companies will often offer a warranty or a service agreement. This means if the termites come back within a certain period, they'll return to retreat, usually at no extra cost. That kind of guarantee is worth its weight in gold when you're protecting your biggest investment. They'll also provide recommendations on how to prevent future infestations. Trust me, when it comes to something that can literally eat your house from the inside out, you want experts handling it. Make sure they're licensed, insured, and have good references. Don't just go for the cheapest quote, go for the best, most thorough solution. Chapter 5. Preventing future termite infestations, protecting your home. Alright, so whether you've dealt with an infestation or you've been lucky enough to avoid one so far, prevention is your best friend. You don't want to go through this hassle again, right? So, what can you do? First thing, termites love moisture, so keeping your wood flooring and the area around your foundation as dry as possible is crucial. Fix any leaky pipes, faucets, or AC units immediately. Ensure your gutters and downspouts are clear and directing water away from your foundation. Grade the soil around your house so it slopes away, preventing water from pooling. Good ventilation in crawl spaces and basements is also key to reducing humidity. Next up, eliminate their food sources near your home. Don't stack firewood or lumber against the side of your house. If you do, keep it raised off the ground and at least a few feet away. Remove dead tree stumps, old form boards, or any wood debris from around your foundation. Mulch can be an issue too. While it's great for your garden, try to keep it at least 6 inches away from the foundation and use it sparingly. If you have wooden trellises or deck supports, make sure they're not in direct contact with the soil. Use concrete footers or termite-resistant materials where wood meets ground. And finally, regular inspections are a must. At least once a year, do a thorough check yourself, looking for those signs we talked about earlier: mud tubes, damaged wood, discarded wings. Pay close attention to areas like basements, crawl spaces, and around plumbing. Better yet, consider having a professional termite inspection annually, especially if you live in an area with high termite activity. They know exactly what to look for and can spot problems you might miss. Investing a little in prevention can save you a whole lot of headaches and money down the road. It's all about being proactive and making your home as uninviting to termites as possible. So there you have it, termites. They're a serious threat, a silent destroyer that can wreak havoc on your home and your finances if you let them. But the good news is, you're not helpless. Understanding how they operate, knowing what signs to look for, and taking decisive action. That's how you fight back. Whether it's diligent DIY for a tiny issue or calling in the pros for the heavy lifting, the key is to not ignore the problem. Pretending it's not there won't make it go away. It'll just give them more time to eat you out of house and home. I've seen too many homeowners deal with the aftermath of a termite infestation that could have been caught earlier or prevented altogether. It's heartbreaking to see beautiful homes compromised because of these tiny pests. Your home is your sanctuary, your biggest investment. You've got to protect it. That means being vigilant, doing your inspections, and not cutting corners when it comes to treatment and prevention. If you suspect you have termites, don't wait. Get it checked out, get it dealt with. Listen, taking care of your home is a big responsibility, but it's one you can't afford to neglect. When it comes to termites, an ounce of prevention is truly worth a pound of cure, or in this case, a truckload of repairs. So take what you've learned today, inspect your property, and if you find something or even suspect something, take action, do it right, protect your investment, and keep your home safe and sound for years to come. That's how you make it right.